All right, we are live. Instagram and TikTok. We are back in the office. We can do dual screens again. I am really excited for today's live training. Oh, I pause. I don't know. I'm really excited for today's live training because this is actually a conversation that I was just having with a friend. And in having the conversation, I got the idea to do this live, and I'm like, yes, let's go for it. Let's talk about like affirmations and essentially why the I am affirmations are not enough. So this is the stuff that is the spiritual side of entrepreneurship, right? This is the spiritual side of entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about use the stuff that is the spiritual side of entrepreneurship, right? This is the spiritual side of entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about using affirmations to manifest in business and how to write affirmations that align with each chakra using the law of assumption instead of the law of attraction. And we'll get into why in just a second. I got my notes. I got it all. All right. Actually, that is not what I wanted to drink of. And I got my energy drink. So before we even get into, I'm not going to get into all the laws of the universe, but before we even get into like why we're doing the law of assumption, let me explain the difference between the law of assumption versus the law of attraction and why the law of assumption is actually one that I prefer if I'm going to work with the laws, which we're arguably always working with the laws. So the law of attraction is, in my opinion, and there's probably a factual statement somewhere, it's the most widely known one, right? Everybody has heard of like the law of attraction. And if you've ever watched my content, you even see where I say like law of attraction, and the law of attraction actually has the word action like right in there, right? Like you have to take action to attract. So that is the law of attraction. The law of assumption is assuming that it is already yours. You assume that it already belongs to you, right? Like that is how the law of assumption operates. And so when we think about these laws in terms of like to assume something versus to attract something, well, if you're going the attraction route, you don't necessarily believe that it's yours, right? You are putting out the frequency that it can be yours and that you're going to attract it, but it's still something you have to go obtain. It's something you got to go get, right? Now, when you get into the law of assumption, you assume that it's already yours. My favorite like analogy for this is an Amazon delivery. Okay, you place your Amazon order, you know, in about 48 hours, if you have Prime, sometimes 24, that the package is coming. Like it's already done. It's already been placed. The order has been placed. You called up, you didn't call nobody. You got onto Amazon. You said, I'm going to order this book, and you know the book is coming. So when you run your business under the law of assumption and you go under the assumption that things are already going to happen, things are already existing in a different timeline, right? You have the business vision, and you assume that it belongs to you. Well, it's like an Amazon package, right? You already called it up and you called up God or whoever you believe in, and you say, hey, this is what's going to happen in business. And then that's what you get, right? You assume that it's yours. Like I said, the law of assumption operates a lot like an Amazon delivery. And that's why I find it to be more powerful than the law of attraction. Because if we go take it back to the Amazon delivery, you're not attracting anything from Amazon. You know it's coming, right? You don't have to do anything, right? Now, this is not to say that there is no work to be put in to utilize the law of assumption, right? There's still action to be taken. So anyway, so that's what we're going to get into. We see, I see a lot of like things around affirmations, and the most common affirmation that I find is like, I am affirmations, right? I am rich. I am wealthy. But those only target the root chakra, and those only target the root chakra under the law of assumption. Okay. If you assume like, I am wealthy, I am rich, I am this, right? But it doesn't get to the other energy centers that we have in the body. So there are 7 chakras, right? And when you think of what the laws operate on, the law of assumption operates on a certain frequency. And the job of that is to magnify and multiply. It's neither good or bad per se. It's just a matter of what frequency is being put out, and what's being put out is what I receive, right? So when you are thinking of attracting something, it's something you have to go and get. But when you assume it's yours, it's something that is already on its way to you. You see the difference? And so when we think about it in terms of chakras, when we do I am affirmations, we are working with the root, okay? But when we go and we move into the different chakras to get onto that frequency, let's move up to the sacral chakra, for instance, then there's an I feel thing, right? And the feeling is the frequency that's put out. So when you want to manifest in business and you begin to go with the I feel, well, now it's a little bit different, right? I feel grateful for all of the clients that I have, okay? Versus I attract many clients. You see the difference? Like to write out like, I am booked and busy. We'll put it that one, right? Like for a lot of clients, right? I am booked and busy versus I feel grateful to have, a full calendar. There's a different energy that comes with writing it that way. And so when you write it that way, now you actually get into the emotional state underneath. And when you get into that emotional state, and this is working again with the sacral chakra, you feel the pleasure, you feel the excitement, right? And so now you're putting the feeling out there. And when we take it back to the frequency of what the universe is meant to do, it's meant to magnify and multiply. So when you put that good feeling out there, well, then it's going to come back to you magnified and multiplied, right? And so this is where I am affirmations are not enough. Then there's, like I said, the I feel. If we move into the solar plexus, this is the confidence and the power. So what do you do in order to have these clients come to you? What is the I do affirmation that allows you to take action, right? So you could say, I'm trying to think of like a synonym for do, because I don't necessarily write like I do this. You could go like I have, for example. So I have a full calendar. I have more than enough money. I have all the clients that I need. I serve, that's one. I serve my clients powerfully, right? Because that is an action of doing. To serve is to do, right? When you're doing something, like serving is doing. And so when you think about it like that and you go along with the solar plexus in the confidence space and you say, I serve my clients powerfully. I serve in my content daily, right? Things like that. Well, again, now you're putting a different type of frequency out there. So you're assuming that it's already done. You're assuming that because you serve powerfully, now you feel, back to the sacral, you feel grateful that your calendar is full and you have the I am stability from the root, right? So then we get into the heart space. I love, right? That's the love space. So how do we, manifest under the heart chakra? So this is a lot of self-acceptance. And so we want to put out the frequency of self-acceptance, right? We want the balanced heart chakra. So with self-acceptance, like I love what I do. I love showing up online every day. I love making content that resonates. I love serving my clients. I love listening to my intuition, right? Like all of these things then fall into the affirmation that surrounds the heart space, right? And then they start to go together. Then we get into the throat. And with the throat, I speak. This one, you either like, I've met people with either really strong throat chakra or like the throat chakra needs some work. But I speak. So I speak clearly. I speak powerfully. When I speak, my clients listen, right? When I speak, I attract the right people to me, okay? When I speak, I make money. That would be a law of assumption right there. Every time I speak, I get paid. Every time I speak, my bank account grows. And so even if that is not yet the reality, but let's say in business, you know that you show up online and you want to speak and you eventually maybe want to be a public speaker or something like that. Well, again, the universe's job is to magnify and multiply. And so when you're putting it out there like that, every time you speak, you get paid, then eventually that's going to become true. Now that again is going beyond simple I am affirmations because there's more to it. Then we get into the I space, the C, right? This is the intuition and vision. This is where like my eye is good, right? So I see. So what is the vision that you see, right? You could say like, I see money in my business every day. I see success in my posts. I see clients from all over the world, right? Like, again, this is the big vision, which, little side note, I'm actually going to be hosting a business vision masterclass, create your business vision masterclass on the 21st. So make sure you're following along, because I'm going to make those announcements very, very soon, because it's in like 2.5 weeks. So make sure you're following along. And if you want to sign up, it's going to be a completely free masterclass, create your business vision. And we're going to go over the 4 core principles of a strong business vision. So like I said, follow along, and I'll be posting those updates in my story like today or tomorrow. Anyways, okay, back to this. So the I see, right? What do you see? What is the vision? And again, when you put the vision out there and you operate, let me come back to that. I'm gonna bring it back, because I'm gonna show you where all of these align together to put out the proper frequency to manifest under the law of assumption. So then the last one is the crown space, your head space, right? This is the knowing. This one to me is one of the strongest ones under the law of assumption, because when you know that it's on its way to you, when you know that it's coming, you absolutely show up differently, right? So like, when you know, again, taking it back to that Amazon package, that your order is on its way, that what you put out is coming to you, well, then like you have this divine connection through the crown, and you just show up differently. It's different. So taking all of these affirmations from like the chakra system, right? So, the crown is I know, the I is I see, the throat is I speak, the heart is I love, the solar plexus is I do or I serve, for this example, the sacral is I feel, and the root is I am. Oops. I always get spam calls when I go live. I don't know what it is. Anyways, when you take all of these together, let's use the example of serving clients. Now, the frequency, you're beyond the root, right? So instead of saying like, I am grateful for a full calendar, which you are, that is one piece of it. Then you get into like, I feel grateful because I have many clients to serve. I feel grateful, for everybody, for a full calendar, for everybody that's coming to my program. A full calendar might not be the best example, because some people like a full calendar freaks them out. So let's change that. I am grateful for a sold out program. Okay, let's do that one. I am grateful for a sold out program. You're operating in the root. I am, right? You are grateful. But then the universal laws are off of frequency. So then you get into the I feel. I feel grateful for a sold out program, right? You're getting into the feeling. I feel happy that I have X amount of women in my program, right? And so then now when you get into that spot, you're putting out the feeling, and the feeling is what resonates back. The solar plexus, I do, or I serve. I serve hundreds of women in my program, right? Even if it's not booked yet, you're operating under the law of assumption that you are going to serve these women. So I serve, hundreds of women within my program. Then you get into the heart. I love having people in my program. I love that my program is sold out. Again, you assume that it's done, and then you operate under the law of assumption. I speak powerfully to these women. I speak and these people get results. I speak and I get paid when I speak. I speak and I make money. The law of assumption. You assume that every time you open your mouth, money is coming. Money is coming from your business, right? Money is coming to you. And then again with the I see, right? And then the crown is I understand. And so, or I know. You can do either one, right? I know. That's like my thing, like, because that's one thing that I always say, like, oh, I know it's coming. I know my program is sold out. I know that I'm, booked as much as I can be. And so when we take what we know now about how to properly do like affirmations to work with all of the chakras, the next piece is the action. So this is combining the law of assumption with the law of attraction. And the reason in the beginning that I said that I prefer to look at the law of assumption is because the law of assumption is assuming that it already belongs to you, because it does. And you move yourself in a way where you know that this is yours, and you show up as if it's already yours, right? You're just doing the work in the meantime. The law of attraction, which has the action piece in it, and like I said before, I've broken that up in content. The law of attraction means you have to still take the action. So this is where you manifest in business with writing. You take your pen, you take your notebook, and if you want to get into doing affirmations for business, you move past the I am. So you can write out I am affirmations, but then if you want to take some action and work under the law of assumption, then you need to write out what you have, right? I have a sold out program. I have clients from all over the world. I have people reaching out to work with me. I have a business that supports my lifestyle. So you see the difference? Like, when you are claiming that you have it, you assume that it already belongs to you. And since you assume that it already belongs to you, you put out the frequency that it is yours. And if the universe's job is to magnify and multiply, well then this is where you start collapsing timelines. You see what I mean? When you're going for the attraction of something, you're looking beyond what is in front of you, and you're looking at it as something like you need to be more to attract more. But when you assume that it's already yours, there's a little bit different tonage to that, and there's a different verbiage to the words. And so when you assume that it is yours, well, now you're becoming, you already are. You see what I mean? You're not having to go do more to attract. You recognize that you have it, therefore it belongs to you, and therefore you show up as if it belongs to you, because it does, because you have declared it. So this is where, like I said, the law of assumption, I just think is way better. But there's nothing wrong with the law of attraction. And so the action piece, again, is taking that pen and putting it to paper. And I recommend highly that you have like a business notebook that is not for the strategy side of things, but that you have a business notebook that is for the spiritual side of entrepreneurship. I have one. And so whenever I am doing like a stream of conscious writing for business, or whenever I am doing like, affirmations, and I'm being transparent, I have not written affirmations in a while, I have this specific notebook that I go to that is everything spiritual in my business everything I desire in my business that is coming from the spiritual side of entrepreneurship. It goes into that notebook. And so when you have the idea in your head and under the law of assumption that these things belong to you, and then you take the action and you write it out as present tense, I am grateful for, right? Everything that is technically in the future, but not really. Everything that is technically in the future, well, now you're putting the action, and you're essentially like writing a letter to God, to whomever you believe in, right? You're writing a letter and making the declaration that it is yours. So now your job is to simply align with the action, to simply make it as if it is that Amazon package. Everything that you've just declared for your business is coming to you in a Prime delivery truck. Okay? This is like, if it could say like, we have Amazon Prime. So if we had something that said like Universal Prime coming to you, I see like Tiana's on like Universal Prime delivery for Tiana, then obviously like it's going to it's going to get delivered to your doorstep. And so what do you do in the meantime? Let's say you ordered a new vase, right, from Amazon. You're like, I need a new vase for these flowers. Well, now you're gonna clean up the old vase. You're gonna probably make a new space on your table. Maybe you're gonna go get some new flowers, right, to put into the vase that's coming. You're gonna prepare for that delivery. So when you're thinking about your business and operating your business under the law of assumption, then what is the preparation that you are doing to be able to receive your delivery? Because your delivery is on its way. You've written it down that you already have it. So since it's written down that it belongs to you, then where is it coming from? You know what I mean? Like, what is the preparation? Where are you prepping for this universal law truck to pull up to your doorstep and say, okay, here you go. Here is the delivery that you asked for. Here is the request that you put in and ordered. Well, if you didn't clear off that table, then where are you going to put it? You see what I mean? And so I've talked about this in different lives about like this comes back to the belief system, and I don't know that I'm gonna get all the way into the belief system today because I've been talking about that a lot, maybe. But this comes back to when you look at it in business, this comes back to clearing out the belief systems. And so the affirmations will work as long as we have room for them because we've cleared out the belief systems. So going back to the law of assumption, if you assume that it is yours, but then what's a good example here? You're in the law of assumption. You assume, let's take the program, right? You have a sold out program. You have assumed it. You have declared it. I have a sold out program. I am grateful for my sold out program. I feel honored to speak to hundreds of women a day. When I speak, I get paid, right? These are your new affirmations for the today under the assumption. But if you did not clear out any old beliefs, or if you're saying you have a sold out program, but then you haven't showed up to sell the program, well, then there's a conflict. You see what I mean? You're not clearing off that table for your vase. You haven't made any room for it. There's no room for it to show up. And so if you always look at business under law of assumption the same as an Amazon Prime delivery, then you will always know that there is something that, I don't want to say something that needs to be done, because it sounds like you will always be doing something, and that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, like, you should always be prepared to receive. That's it. You should always be prepared to receive, right? If you're ordering new clothes, you're going to make room for them in the closet so that you have somewhere to hang them, right? You're going to order the right size. You're going to make sure there's somewhere to put them. You're probably going to maybe get rid of some old clothes. You're going to, if you have the space but not enough hangers, you might go get new hangers, right? So it's the same in business. You put the order in, and so now you just need to do what needs to be done to be able to receive the order. Because we've assumed that it's ours. It belongs to us. We declared it. It's written in the stars, and it's written in your notebook. And then, like I said, if you don't have a notebook, go get a notebook for the spiritual side of entrepreneurship. Let's see. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. So just move past the I am affirmations. There's nothing wrong with them. Keep them. But if you say I am, and you are becoming, but if you don't feel it, then you need to do a couple more. You need to move through the other chakras, right? Your sacral chakra, the pleasure and the creativity. I am wealthy. Okay, but how would you feel wealthy? That's the energy that needs to be put out there, right? I am grateful that I have a sold out program. Okay, but how would you actually feel with a sold out program? Because the universe is going to magnify, and multiply. What's your favorite way to move things out of the way to receive? Writing. Writing is my favorite way to move things out of the way to receive. And when you write, so let's say you start off with an affirmation, right? And something feels off. Something feels like that's not the move. That's not it. There's a resistance somewhere. One of the things that I like to do is I then take the resistance, right? If I feel a resistance, I will take a fresh sheet of paper and I will write out, like, what is it that I'm resisting when it comes to blank, or what am I resisting? And I will do like a free flow style writing for about 5 to 10 minutes until I can get everything out. Once everything is out and I can see what the belief systems are, then I'll take it back and I'll pinpoint what is maybe an old belief that is not mine, and I will rewrite it into a new one, right? And that is one way to move the beliefs out, is by literally writing, like, I release I release fear of rejection and I embrace the idea of being seen. I release the fear of being misunderstood, and I know that being misunderstood will bring me to my people. You see what I mean? And so this is also going back to, like, using those same affirmations throughout the chakras. So if I release the fear of being misunderstood through writing, and then I say, I know that every misunderstanding brings me closer to my purpose, or I know that the right people will find me. Well, now I'm manifesting under the crown chakra, under the law of assumption that the right people are coming, and I've released the old stuff. That stuff is long gone. It doesn't belong to me anymore, right? And so to answer your question, yeah, my favorite way to move things out of the way to receive would be to just write it out and change the whole belief system, get that old one out and get that new one in. And what I can do, actually, I think I will do this now that I'm talking about this. I will make a post. I'm going to put it on my Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, you'll see it later. If you're watching me on TikTok, come check it out on Instagram. It's the exact same username at NikkiLynn.creative. But I'm going to make a post that you guys can save for your own like affirmations to write. And I will write out like what the beginning of the affirmation sounds like for each chakra. And so like just to run it back one more time, the crown would be I know, the eye is I see, the throat is I speak, the heart I love, the solar plexus I do, or I serve. I prefer that one, but the traditional like one is I do. The reason I like I serve is because we're service-based entrepreneurs, right? We're serving people, and serving is the action. And then the sacral is I feel, and the root is I am. So yeah, that is the gist of it. That is pretty much everything for, you know, using the universal laws to manifest in business under the law of assumption. The action part of the law of assumption is to write it, to believe it, to omit the frequency, and then to omit. No, you're not omitting anything. You're emitting. To emit the frequency, and then to make room for it the way you would any other package. I am going to make that post. If you want more on like the spiritual side of entrepreneurship, using writing for clarity, using writing for like a business vision, make sure you follow me on TikTok, on Instagram, and then my YouTube. I post all of the live replays over to YouTube. I have a masterclass coming up on March 21st, and it is called Create Your Business Vision, the 4 core principles, right? We're going to touch on 4 core principles to create your business vision. That is a free masterclass that will be on the 21st. I am just figuring like a couple little things. I got to tweak on the link today, and then I will put that link out. So be sure to follow along because I'm gonna post it to my stories. Again, it's a completely free masterclass. And then the last thing I'll say is if you don't want to wait till the 21st, I have my business vision meditation freebie that is in my bio. You can check that out, get your guidance, go make some money. Like one of girl did it and she went and had like one of her top selling days, and I was like, yes. So go get that, go make some money. We're here to make some money, we're here to have some fun, and we're here to like learn about ourselves. So until next time, I will see you all maybe tomorrow. I'm gonna try to come on live tomorrow. If not, I'll be on Thursday. Bye y'all.